One pod in every position is what we've got for you tonight. Another video from the NRL Fantasy Fanatics. Welcome back. Joined as always by Will. How are you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah, as I just said, tonight we've got some pods in every position, one or two for every spot. And we're kicking it off straight away with Tom Starling. So take it away from here, Will.
Before you start with Tom Starling, can you quickly talk to us about the Discord and the league prize that we're giving out this year and our giveaway too?
Okay. Our Discord is a place where you can ask us directly or just chat amongst our followers about your own teams. You can send in your own team, get it reviewed, even if we're not available. There's people that know a lot about fantasy in there that can help you with your teams. There's heaps of these different tabs that you can just talk about NRL, talk about cricket, anything you want. We'll put in our best multis of the week as well in there if you're a betting man. It's just a spot you can hang out and chat NRL really. So if you want to get amongst that, it's in our bio. So join that up. And our giveaway for reaching 1,000 followers, we're giving away a genuine NRL jersey. We've pinned it on our page, and I've put a few stories up about it. All you got to do is tag a friend and follow us, and then show us proof that you've done it, and you'll be entered. So that finishes in about 4 days. So yeah, Discord and giveaway, get amongst it.
Yeah, but let's get straight into this. So first pod, someone that I'm pretty interested in. I think he should start a hooker again this year, and I think if he gets over 60 minutes, you see a career average of 55.1, which means 16, 18 points of value for Tom Starling there. A lot there. Any interest in Tom Starling at all? Owned by 1.58% of teams.
Yeah, I am actually interested in Tom Starling. He is an interesting one, and he'll likely get the spot for starting spot for Raiders with Danny Levi probably going to be in the 15 spot or something around that. Yeah, Danny's the only chance to limit his minutes, but as we saw last year that even with Danny off the bench, Tom Starling still got about 70, 65, 70 minutes, and Levi played that last 15 or 20-ish.
He played a bit at lock
Um,
too.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not too much competition for Starling, and even with Levi or someone else taking his spot, he still manages to average 45 to 50 points, and at just 1.6% owned. If you're not too keen on Mamazulis or you don't want a gun hooker or something like that, he could be a great option. Um, my only thing to consider is his fixtures to start the year. I don't think they're too great other than the Warriors. You've got Broncos, Manly, Cows, Cronulla. That's a pretty tough run of four. But I feel like Starling is also one of those players who's fixture proof a little bit with his run the ball game. He's, yeah, very attacking. So big, that's his big upside. Anything else to add?
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, we saw what he did last year when he got the chance. He got up to 590k and as high as that. I think this year he could definitely go past that. You're getting him at a discount for 590k. Yeah, he's been a very good player when he gets the opportunity. It's just about getting the opportunity. If he's starting and no Danny Levi there, I'm 100% going with him. I'd like to see the split down in the trial games, but you can't do everything off the trial games. But yeah, a lot of interest in
Even
Tom.
even with Danny Levi, he's still a good option. He'll still pump out 50-point games. You saw that last year. He's still an option with Danny Levi, even in the vicinity. I still think he's a good option.
Yeah, definitely. So the next pod for me, break even of 35, price of 35, 51 average at edge when starting there, 5.1% owned. Should get mid and edge dual. Do you have any interest in Alex Seyfarth?
I do have some interest in Alex Seyfarth. I think he's very undervalued, as you can see, around 17 points of value there. Should lock in the 12 spot to start the year for the Tigers. And looking at his stats on the edge last year, as you've pulled up, can you just do 2024? Or
Yeah,
even that, that's fine. Across his
2024,
career,
48 average in 2024.
yeah,
That's a
48
one
average
more minute
last year,
game.
and across his career, yeah, a little outlier as well with 47 minutes. Across his career, obviously averaging 51 at the edge. Um, I reckon in a new and inspired Tigers team, I think he'll do well and step up as one of their senior players who's been around their system for a while. Um, I do think he'll step up. And very easy. I reckon Tigers have some of the easiest first four fixtures in the NRL: Newcastle, Para, Dolphins, and the Warriors. Um, I can see him keeping that average of 50, to be honest, and he should make easily 80K in the first 3 weeks if you plug his average of 50 in. I do think there's a lot of upside to be had there and a lot of value. So I'm
Yeah,
big
well,
on Seyfarth.
72K if he averages 50 for the first 3 weeks.
Yeah,
The
good
thing that I'm
value.
looking at Seyfarth is you look at the games in 2024, he ran 100 meters in that bigger minute games he played, and he wasn't doing that in 2022 onwards. And you see, he had 3 starts or 4 starts, and he scored 2 tries in there. So it looks like he's going to score more tries. He's going to have Galvin or Lua next to him. I think he's going to do really well there. And another thing I like is him captain on this weekend in the trial game.
Yeah, big signs. They're not captaining him for no reason, so they're recognizing him as one of their senior players, and that's
Yeah,
great. That's always good to be recognized like that. It means big minutes and big roles.
yeah, I'm
So yeah,
massive on him
keen
this
on
week.
Alex Seyfarth.
So you got Tallis Duncan there, who if he gets the lock position, I don't know if I'm interested in it at all. Owned by 2.7% of people. 45.6 average there when playing over 50 minutes. Most of these games, that's second row, but if he plays lock, you still see from minutes over 50 minutes, he has like 12 points of value there. Is there any interest in Seyfarth who has been tipped to get that
Duncan,
13
you
role?
mean? Yeah, look, Duncan. It's a toss up between him and Kolomatangi, and I've got Kolomatangi to start 13. The only problem is with Keon is that he's lost about 10 or so kilos from last year, which probably isn't great through the middle. Um, it's a toss up. I reckon it's probably 50-50. There's just not too many stats on Duncan at lock. He's only played one game, I think, and scored not great. I think 30-ish points, but he did get
Yeah,
around 40 something
in
minutes.
45
Yeah,
minutes.
30 points from 45 minutes. Um, it's not great. Look, 109 meters gained is pretty nice in 45 minutes. With 20 tackles and one miss, that's nice as well. Um, look, 451K. I think there is a bit of value there if he can get that lock spot, get around 65, 70 minutes. I reckon he could average 45 to 50. And if so, he's about 16, 15 points. There's 16, 15 points of value there. Um, yeah, Tallis Duncan. I've currently got Keon, but upon further notice, wait till TLT Tuesday. If Duncan does get the spot, I don't think he'll be 2.7% owned for much longer.
Yeah, well, I think I would definitely go Seyfarth over Duncan first, just for the job security. And I just want to say I feel for those South Sydney Rabbitohs fans. Terrible
Yeah,
terrible day for you. Your best player injured, ruptured Achilles, and Latrell Mitchell, someone who's massive in fantasy, out for 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, opens up the spot for Jahream, Tallis, or Keon, whoever gets that lock spot. But yeah, I think Tallis comes with a little bit of risk. Like obviously that 34 break even, the one game at lock, he went under that. But I do see if he's starting at lock, he should get big minutes there. So I think not much risk with Tallis, but it is a bit risky. Like all these players are risky, which is why their ownership is a bit lower.
yeah, just a wait and see for Towers, but decent option, but won't be 2.7.
Yeah, so
Luciano Leilua.
you talk us through
One
Luciano. Yeah, you saw him last year.
one I'm very keen on as a Cowboys fan. Um, Probably not one most people would expect coming at just 0.5% owned. However, I've always loved the way he plays, his work rates, lots of tackles pretty efficiently too. Um, he has a career average of almost 50 at edge, and in a revamped Dragon side, I think they'll rely pretty heavily on his game to help them win more contests. And
48.6.
yeah, I expect big things to come, and I don't know why he isn't being talked about even more. Like mid-tier edge who's starting in a good better Dragon side. And yeah, averages 51 when getting over 70 minutes. I I don't think he's being talked about enough. I think he's a very good option as a pod. 0.5% owned is absolute craziness.
Yeah, he's very interesting. I mean, they have two very good attacking edges in Luai and sorry, Luciano and Sewer, which is something that I mean, one game they might go Sewer more and then Luciano the next game. So, but I think he has the base there too, base of 45 to 50 without any attacking stats.
Yeah, look, he he's not the biggest try scorer or assists. He does get a few try assists, which is great. Not too many
Yes,
line breaks, few line break assists here and
hang
there.
on.
He doesn't get too many attacking stats. He does rely pretty heavily on his meters gained, where he averages around 100 or so. Makes a few tackles as well, averaging about 28-ish. Um, he does have a great base, which is why I'm very keen on him. The only concern is, does he have enough upside to consider him? Like, I feel like a guy 0.5% owned, you're not really looking at him for money making. You're looking at him in case he gets that 70-point score and put you ahead of a field. But I'm pretty keen on Luciano Leilua. There does come a risk with him. I don't know if I'll jump on him immediately. But look, if you're looking for a mega pod, I reckon he could be your guy.
Yeah, I'm really keen on Luciano.
Are you sure you paused it?
So yeah, Toby
Yeah,
Couchman, the next one. I'm pretty keen on Toby. See that break even of 39. Tip to start eight this upcoming season. And the one thing for me is you see him in big minutes when playing at the edge. I mean, 39 average, good PPM there. So if he can get over even 40 minutes there, is there any interest in Toby at all?
look, I'm personally not interested in Couchman. He is obviously tipped to play eight for the Dragons. Um, Absolutely mental PPM of 1.07, one of the better ones I've seen. Look, yeah, 62-point game from 39 minutes is something you can not expect, but something you know in the back of your head he can produce. Yeah, makes a lot of tackles with, look, average of 26 tackles with zero point 0.6 misses. That's extremely efficient. And yeah, like you said, with that PPM, if you can just get 40 minutes, he'll likely score 40 to 45 points.
You'd say
And
it's
yeah, who
starting
knows if he
prop.
gets a line break or a try here or there, he could bump it up to 50. Like,
Yeah, you'd say the
yeah,
starting
what do you
prop on that
reckon?
Dragons team should get any 50 minutes. And I mean, if he can keep
Hmm.
that PPM of one in 50 minutes, that's 11 points of value there. And that dual position, I don't know. I still think I'd go Seyfarth over him just because Seyfarth is cheaper and also will have a dual and is a little bit better job security. But I think Toby's one to keep a very close eye on if he can crank out a couple bigger minute games in his first two, then look to pick him up in round four after their bye.
Like you just said, monitor him in rounds one and two. Canterbury and Rabbits, like with the two injuries to the Rabbits, they're not as good, strong a team anymore. Those are two great fixtures to start. You could even hop on him in the first round if you want to and get ahead of a pack. There is a risk if he flops, he flops. But if he does well, then everyone's going to want him by round four. And you've just sat there and probably made about 50K while he scored 50 points.
Yeah,
If you do want him, otherwise just wait until even you probably might not even want him against the Storm. You can even wait for Parramatta, but at that point, if he's gone well enough, he's probably too late. So it might be a case of just jump on him. If you want him, you've got to have him early. Otherwise, it's probably not going to happen.
I think it's one of the riskier pods on this list, but one that
Mm,
has close to the best upside. I could see him if he gets
yeah,
50 to 55 minutes, he could get up to 700K. Very good player, Toby is.
yeah. Um, Normally last year we did see a bit of Jack DeBellin playing prop, and Jack DeBellin should play 13 this year, so that eliminates a bit of competition for him. I do see the Dragons, however, having Fatala Mariner on their bench along with Hame Sele, which could limit his minutes, and Tom Eisenhuth, who does have the mid-edge duel, I think. Could limit their minutes, but his minutes, but you never know. He is a risky one.
Yeah. So Matt Burton, one we've spoken about with Blindside for a bit. 5'8". I mean, had a pretty good season last year. If you want an antipod Nathan Cleary, you very much could look at Burton, a goal kicking 5'8". I think for me, the only reason I'm not looking at Burton is that up and down nature he can put, and I want a consistent half. Do you have any
Mm.
interest in Burton at all?
Mm, not too much interest, but I can see why people would want him to anti-Bob Cleary. He's a proven gun, obviously, at just 3% owned. He's a very ball dominant player for a six, which is great. He averages about three, I think last year at he averages about 380 kick meters, which is very good. Oh, sorry, in his career at six, he's averaged 380 kick meters, which is great. And this year, alongside Toby Sexton, who's he's not the most ball dominant player. He only averages about 270 kick meters in his career, which is quite a big drop of 110 meters from Burton. I do expect Burton to be the main kicker on field, and he's also got goal kicking. So should easily, I reckon, easily maintain that average of 53 to 55. And if you do want a guy to anti-pod Cleary, I reckon he could go close to being your man.
Yeah, I think Burton got a very good running game, which I like a lot. Like you see games here, he has 3 tries, 2 tries, and I mean he's a kind of like Luai, got a very good running game, but kicks more and is a goal kicker too. So I know Luai's
Yeah.
130k cheaper. Also like the Munster breed of a 5'8", but just plays at 7 pretty much for them. So yeah, I think one that I think he should be pretty consistent this year. Like there's a couple of lower outlier games there, but that game against the Roosters, they kind of got beaten there where he went a bit lower. So yeah, I think
Hmm.
one to look maybe anti-pod Cleary with, but I would just think Cleary is a must-have, and you don't want to have
Just
two.
before you move on, look at that run from round 5 to round 14. 82, 42, 47, 55, 53, 58, 73. That's that's what he can do. And then even after that low score of 27, he went 70, 67, 68, 44, 57, 51, 71, 66. You can't really complain that he's that up and down with his lower scores being around almost 50. I think I do think he's a very good option if you want an antipod Cleary. I reckon he's probably your best option, really.
And a relatively good draw the first 5 rounds, to be honest, too.
Yeah, great draw.
Yeah,
Dragons, Warriors, Parramatta, Sharks are the only tough one, and then Newcastle, and then their bye. That's a great start.
yeah,
Um,
very
very
interested in him.
yeah.
And the other guy that should get half wing fullback duel, AJ Brimson. I mean, if he plays at 5'8", he has a career average of 42.5, which isn't amazing. But the one thing for me
Some
is
low scores in there.
I saw AJ got 20 in 40 minutes in that blowout in the trial match against the Broncos with no attacking stats whatsoever. So if he keeps that, and we know what AJ can do when getting the attacking stats, any interest in AJ at all?
I can't say I'm too interested in AJ just with their round one bye. My also another problem I have with him is he is tipped to start at six and then Campbell seven. But my problem is that Kieran Foran is tipped to play 14. And just, I reckon it could take a one or two bad games for Brimson for Foran to go into seven and then Jaden to go to six and then shift Brimson out of a side or maybe put him in the centers or something like that. I'm just not too keen on him. I can't see him playing wing fullback again with Keeney a lock in their side. I think it's a bit risky, and I can't say I'll be picking him up.
Yeah, I think one that doesn't come with much risk, like very good player. The only risky thing for me is he's very injury prone, but I could see him on a better Titan side than have been the last couple of years. Tino back really helps him. He could average around 45 here.
Yeah, look, I'm not too keen on him, but if you are keen on him, then go for it. It's your
Yeah.
team.
A relatively good draw after that bye too.
Yeah, and Canterbury, Newcastle, Sydney's not great. Dolphins, St. George, Canberra, Cows not all right. Yeah, you are right about that. Other than the Roosters, I wouldn't tip any of those sides to really be top eight contention. So yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
one
pretty good draw.
comes with a lot of interest for me. So I haven't looked at Bradman Invest very much. 6% ownership. Talk me through why you're so keen on Bradman and what he did in the 2024 season to make you count on him.
Well, I've actually gotten rid of Bradman since we last filmed because I wanted to fit in Colin Matangi, so I went Bradman to Robert Toy as he's likely to start now. Um, I am still keen on Bradman, and if I had to get a mid-tier center, I'd go him. Reasoning is after he had a very, as you can see, a pretty up and down year last year, starting off very slow with 420s in his first 5 rounds. And then after that, he went off 55, 56, 42, 46, 99, 40, and then 109. At a center is ridiculous. And when you see scores like that, it stays in the back of your head as what you know he can do. You know Bradman Beth can pump out an 100-point score as a center, and that's pretty hard to put down. So I just think he's got a good opening fixture against the Tigers where he averages around 55, I think, and I do expect him to kick things off with a bang and do some damage there in the centers. I also think he's a pretty good price. There's a bit of upside there. He's seen prices of around 715K, and I don't reckon there's any reason why he can't do it again. Yeah, 715K, so that's about 130K to be made, or 120 something, 123. And if you don't want a gun center, which there's not too many available, other than maybe a Dylan Lucas or a Bo Firma, if you don't want a gun center, then I reckon he is close to a very good option for a mid tier.
Yeah, one thing I like about him is that left edge is incredible. Marzu, Best, Lucas, and then that's Ponga's dominant side too. I mean, he could be getting attacking stats galore there. And if Sharp plays at 6 too on that side, I mean, watch out. That's
Yeah,
probably
another one.
the most electric edge you could get in the game.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah,
think could have a good season. Very up and down nature from what we've seen, but kind of sees when he crosses for a try, he goes well. He can still score well without a try. For me, I'm letting him go
yeah.
really
He does.
deeper and maybe picking him up when he has it after that bye. Just watching him for 3 weeks.
Yeah, he does. As you can see, averages try once every 2 games, and yeah, he did have an inconsistent year last year. But after rounds 5, I wouldn't say it was inconsistent at all, really. Couple scores of 50, two scores of 100, and a few scores of 40 and a 60. Wasn't really inconsistent. Just the last round, really, 22, that's the only downside. But I can see him finding some consistent form this year and just pumping out an average of around 48 to 50. And if he does, just jump on him. Just, you're right, he's probably I did talk about his average of almost 56 against the Tigers. You might not even want to wait and see on him. Maybe if you want him, just lock him in that side for round 1. He historically scores well against the Tigers. So that's just what I reckon.
Yeah, another thing for me is he played himself into that Origin team and played really well in the Origin team. And it kind of looked
Mm,
after making that Origin, before Origin, he looked good, kind of heated up. Then after that Origin, he got that 100, had the 99 before there. But I think he played really well in Origin. And I know you're not going to select people off their Origin form, but he could look really good, couldn't he?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So Jahream Bula, someone that I'm really keen on. So for me, Jahream, 525K, we all know what Jahream the Dream can do. You look at him over 60 minutes last season, getting that up and down nature, 38 average. But the one thing that screams out for me to Buller is a better team, like better forwards around him, better spine around him, better wingers around him, better everything around him, which I think sees a lot more attacking stats. He runs the footy a lot. Do you have any interest in Jahream at all?
I do have a little interest, but as all pods are, I do think he's very risky. The good thing about him, he doesn't get injured much. He played a full season last year in 2024, and I expect him to improve in the new and improved Tigers lineup. Um, I reckon he could honestly reach the low 40s to even high 40s, low 50s average this year. I just expect bigger things to come from him. But early season, I think the risk is high, but predicting Bula to maybe have a breakout year with very strong attacking upside, as you just mentioned. Um, hopefully, look, it is risky, but his attacking upside, you can't ignore it. And I can see him, as I mentioned before, averaging low 40s to high 40s. What do you reckon?
Yeah, very up and down nature, but I think a lot of these games that he went low would be games that the Tigers get blown out in, and I don't really see them
Yeah,
getting
just
blown
hammered.
out anymore now. You got Hunt, who's a bit of bigger body, and Terrell, and you see like the good fullbacks, they go off their forwards, like Walsh, who I would kind of compare him, Walsh and Latrell to. They've got very good forwards at their team where they can just go up the middle and carve up down there, even Edwards, and I think that he could very easily get to 700k.
Maybe that's a stretch, but like as you can see there, when the Tigers play bad, when it goes wrong for Buller, it goes really wrong. Like some scores in there of 20 with a try and 11 from 80 minutes. It goes really wrong for Buller when it goes wrong.
Yeah, but then
But
when it
like you
goes
said,
right.
the Tigers team last year was pretty horrific to be honest, pretty tragic. And I reckon they've made the best signings in the NRL, a lot of great signings, and I can see them becoming more consistent.
Yeah, definitely. So, last player we got here is Fletcher Sharpe. Talk us through 1.3% ownership. What are your thoughts on him?
I've actually got Fletcher Sharpe in my team at the moment, and I'm very keen on him. He's tipped to play sixth for the Knights, and can you just filter by position for 5/8 if he's actually played
He's
5/8?
never played 5'8".
He's never played 5/8, which you may think that's not great, but I reckon it's a new opportunity for him, and he's going to take that opportunity with open arms. And like you said, that wing edge that they have of Lucas Ponga, um, Best, and Marzu, I reckon Fletcher will very positively benefit from that. The only thing you could argue is that he's maybe a little bit, there's not probably not much value in there. But for a pod, you probably don't need too much value. You're not really looking as a pod as a money maker. You're just looking at them for a player who could score 60 odd and be very low owned. Um, I'm still keen on Fletcher Sharpe. He will get the half wing fullback duel before round one on TLT Tuesday, which is great. Do you have any interest in him at all?
A little bit. He did score a lot of tries last year, to be fair. Uh, I wonder how the 5'8" experiment goes for Fletcher. Never really played there, been a fullback his whole life. But I mean, you still see he scores well at fullback. But I think, yeah, Pong is going to bring the best out of him. Brings the best out of most plays. He's electric. I think he
Yeah,
could very easily go 650k, but he also could bust. I mean, having to make more tackles there and not a massively big body could miss a couple tackles. But yeah, I think Fletcher very interested in him if he can get a couple of attacking stats and a pretty good early draw, to be honest.
yeah. Tigers, Dolphins, Gold Coast before a bye, and then Canterbury Tigers, and then Cronulla, which is obviously a tough one. Then Warriors, Rabbits, Gold Coast, Para again, and then it starts to heat up a bit. But those are great first 10-ish. This is probably he's probably one of the riskier picks we have on this list, just because he's never played 5/8 before. But honestly, if it pays off and you own him, you're gonna be laughing. That's why I own him at the moment, and also that versatility with the wing fullback half duel. That's currently why I own him. Look, it's not everyone's cup of tea, that much risk, but if you're a risky gambling man, then I reckon he could be a guy that you'd want to look at.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to lose much money. I don't see him going below 35 to 40 points. So not much risk involved there. But I think if he wants to be a top gun, he's going to have to get at the attacking stats.
Yeah, it could be one of those players where, well, obviously you probably, if you want to own him long term, you might have to wait and see against the Tigers, see how his role is, see how much attacking he does, and then pick him up maybe for the Dolphins and then get the best out of him for Dolphins and Gold Coast, and then use him as a looping option in their buy, and then just float away with him in Canterbury Tigers and Warriors and the Rabbits. So one of
Yeah,
those players you could wait and see and then pick him up.
yeah, it looks good. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it all. Thanks for watching, guys. And do you have any last comments, Charlie?
No, actually, yeah, just thanks for all the support. Thanks for getting us over 1K on Instagram. That's a big milestone for us. And yeah, we're just very thankful for all of you. enter the giveaway. We're giving away a jersey if you haven't heard already. And yeah, just thanks for being here.
Yeah, enter
All
the
right, catch you
Discord,
later, guys.
follow our Instagram,
Yeah,
subscribe,
enter the Discord as well.
all that stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah, thanks guys. Really keen for the season. Can't wait. Not long now at all.
not long now. Yeah,
Next Tuesday, we'll be here.
yeah, yeah. Jeez. All right, see you guys.
See ya.